The Donda downfall and the harmful artwork of horrific exposure. When Todd Rundgren referred to as Kanye West as simple shoe clothier. The wheels have subsequently come off the Kanye West rollercoaster. In truth, it turned into a wild trip that have been tempting this crashing destiny for a farcical eternity. After years of portents, it might appear that Donda turned into the tipping factor, while antics overtook artistry they've been developing greater nettlesome ever since. Music legend Todd Rundgren turned into delivered in as a manufacturer for the ill-fated album, and he provided a clean caution, approximately the waning approaches of the wayward Mr. West. There is a lot junk on there. Rundgren scathingly instructed ultimate classic rock on the time, I even have 3 albums really well worth of Kanye stems on my computer. Because I saved getting referred to as through Kanye to feature vocals onto the document. This slew of trash started to pile up in Rundgren's inbox as West frantically threw the kitchen sink on the project, and this time in all likelihood now no longer with inside the proverbial feel. He turned into simply always gunning to outdo himself, and in the long run this had little or no to do with inventive integrity. As Rundgren concluded, he's a shoe clothier, he's only a dilettante at this factor. Nobody could often make data like that until that they'd silly cash to throw around. For West, this pass subsequently backfired. After months of fanfare, the album ultimately concentrated round a stage display regarding him amassing a slew of cancelled stars on stage. These blanketed Marilyn Manson, who's presently going through courtroom docket complaints concerning rape allegations, and Dababy, who on the time turned into going through backlash after making homophobic remarks. At best, the philosophy in the back of this inventive gesture turned into stressed and misguided, at worst it turned into purposefully damaging. I'd mission that the intervening months show that it turned into the latter. While the argument that the rapping presidential candidate turned into looking to make his indecipherable attributable to a doubtful mantra on his part, the cause turned into approximately as diffused as a policeman's knock. In the net era, controversy generates interest like no different engine of hobby, and cramming a display complete of speaking factors turned into a platform to show this. Naturally, any launch through West could entice a few media interest, however it'd be naive to suppose that any artist believes themselves to be infallible from the kind to retire into the hills together, along with his millions. Now that this complete issue has reached a head, it's miles vital to learn the way West went from a respected artist to a racist shoe clothier. After all, his contemporary day disgraced popularity may appear unheard of, however the complete fiasco illuminates a difficult underpinning fashion in contemporary day music. Social media has spiraled wildly with inside the final decade, and its complete effect on artwork is now being felt. You see, there has been technique to the insanity that led to Rundgren turning his lower back on Donda, as greater bricks had been piled into the constructing with none planned for the roof. And the technique turned into this. The greater humans you've got on board, the greater attain you've got with an album. Donda turned into basically musical networking. At this stage, West's genuinely idea that the concept of creating a first-rate album in a real veritable feel turned into nearly immaterial. The document got here right all the way down to setting on a display with inside the quid, actually. They hurriedly wrapped the whole lot up and placed out what's glaringly sincerely raw, unprocessed stuff, Rundgren explains. It's due to the fact Drake turned into strolling the complete process. He turned into too afraid that Drake could one-up him, so he moved quickly up and launched the album the weekend earlier than Drake ought to get his out. On the surface, that is not anything new. The Beatles and the Beach Boys had been in an unstated race, well it got here to pushing the sector into a brand new realm of stereo sound, with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and the ill-fated second position Smiley Smile. But that sincerely turned into pioneering work. The purpose turned into to thrust a flag into a brand new summit of artistry, while West's album, Donda, is already a musical moot factor and now genuinely stands as a pivotal second amid a troubling downfall. Reviews for the document had been universally middling, and the fanfare is now lengthy forgotten as his new follies come to the fore like an everyday feat of subversive